everybody to this celebration of my brother, Ralph, the man, the myth, the legend, the facial hair legend, to be exact. Wow. So, Ralph, my name is Arlene Pfeiff, and I am Ralph's much younger and much more intelligent sister. Thank you all for being here. Ralph, I just want to say something to you personally before we get started, and that is, it's payback time.
That's not good.
That is not good. There's a lot of people here who have a lot of passion and emotion, and who have been looking forward to this opportunity for some of them for decades. So no, seriously, I would not choose a public forum like this to humiliate my brother, although it's tempting after decades of obnoxious behavior. So I can imagine that a few people might want to come up to the microphone and, take care of some business, but I'm going to be really well prepared. And so what I want to say to my brother Ralph is that the family is so proud of you and so surprised. You continue to surprise us year after year. I mean, the fact that you made it to this stage in your life and are retiring in a dignified manner without having to be forcibly removed from the building. I mean, that really is, it's shocking. And you've come so far from those very early days when none of us thought you would amount to anything. So, we're super proud. And, it's not unusual that we would feel that way and be as concerned about him as we have over the years, because, my gosh, he committed his first crime when he was 4 years old. I don't know how many people know about this, but at the age of 4, he stole a fire truck that was parked outside of my grandmother's home and proceeded to mow down half the trees in the neighborhood before they were able to stop him. And you don't have to make shit up to tell outrageous stories about Ralph, because I'm sure that everybody here has one. And probably thinks theirs are the best and the most outrageous. But, so I want to say something to Ralph's coworkers. First, anybody who has worked with Ralph over the years, could you raise your hand so that we can see you and know who you are? Okay.
Survivors.
So I just want to say, I see you, and I get you. So what I want to figure out is how long have y'all worked with Ralph? Is there people here who have worked with Ralph for more than 10 years? If you raise your hand, more than 10 years? All right, more than 15 years? More than 20 years?
Oh, yeah.
40 years.
How about too long? Too long.
40 years.
He didn't work all that time, though. He's about a half time.
Kelly's probably, you're close to the longest. Well,
Close to. You don't remember that far back.
when Kelly was there, they didn't use a calendar. It was stone tablets.
So 40.
The abacus.
41 years is what I heard was the longest, and multiple people who have worked with him for over 20 years. Bless your hearts. Seriously. And I want to say something to all of you people. I'm sorry. But it's not our fault. We did the best we could with him, but we didn't have much to work with, as you know. But clearly you all must have organized in some way to keep this man employed for that many years. I don't
appreciate
know
it.
how you did it or how you organized yourself, but you clearly did do it. And so really this is a celebration of all of you for what you have endured, and all of us. So Ralph is kind of secondary in all of that. It's been a trying time for the family over the last couple years as we've contemplated Ralph's retirement. It's very unsettling because if you have the history that we have with Ralph and the challenge that he has always been, it's a scary thing for us. Very unsettling. Many of us have been taken to prayer and meditation, hoping that this next period in life would be all right, and many of us are just executing on plans to move further out. This retirement has been looming over us like a gigantic, enormous, black, stinking, gaseous cloud of terror and impending doom that we can't even fully express. And so the family has asked me to ask all of you, Ralph's coworkers, if you would maybe consider something. Just consider something. What we were thinking was that maybe he could still come to the office every day.
Why?
If you can just keep him there. I mean, you guys are used to this. We're not used to this. You guys have been doing this for 40 years in some cases. So if you could just keep him there until 3:30 every day. Vanessa is an amazing cook. She's promised to send baked goods every Friday. And so before you decide, I just want, could the family and the in-laws and everybody, could you raise your hands so everybody can see who you are? Okay, look at these faces. These are pathetic faces of fear
Need some help.
and hopelessness. And so these are the people that you can help. And so I see heads nodding. I see that I already have agreement here. Thank you so much. And so here's the thing. Don't worry about this stupid party. Nothing changes. Think of it as if everything is still the same, and Ralph will be there on Monday and at the normal time
You betcha.
to see all of you. All right, so even though nothing changes, I know that there's a few people that might want to say something about Ralph or tell one of those many outrageous stories that we know are out there. And so I want to invite anybody else up to the microphone that might want to do that. All right? So if you could just announce who you are and your relationship with Ralphie.
All right, so I don't know a lot of you people here, but for the ones that I do know here, I've only known, 5.5 years probably, just over 5 years of working with Ralph, yeah. So he's, from work experience, Ralph, I've had great experiences, so I can't bring up anything that is... I'm sorry, I'm going to leave that to some of my coworkers.
Okay, next.
Yeah. However, I have a habit when it comes to motorized vehicles or anything that has wheels. I fall off of it, and a couple of years ago, I fell off of a motorcycle on a motorcycle ride. Not Ralph's fault, but he was leading, and I got my hand all messed up or whatever, and that turned into a thing. And now I have to talk to my boss about buying a motorcycle because I got pfeifed. And I feel like there's some people, maybe even within the Pfeiff family, that don't know what getting pfeifed is. So if there's some other individuals that can bring up some of their potential stories, but in my case, it cost me some knuckles. And other than that, no, he's always a good mentor to have and a definite reliable source for a particular program that we both have used and challenged by. But yeah, no, I have nothing other than good things to say about you, Ralph. Next.
Oh, we got
Oh.
Brother Phil.
I am the kinder older brother, okay? Anyways, everybody knows Ralph. But a lot of us know Ralph as he's always there if you need him. He's always there if you need something fixed. He's always there for a ride. He's always there with a smile on his face.
100%.
And he's always been just fun to be around.
95.
But let me tell you what he was like before he started his medication.
Okay, I'm not paying you anymore.
Arlene did kind of steal my thunder a little bit, but around 4 years old, he did steal a fire engine.
You go, Ralph.
Somehow, the board pile caught on fire next to our house in Pueblo, Colorado.
Somehow.
None of us will admit to how it started, but me and Mark know it was Ralph. The fire department shows up. Ralph crawls up inside the cab, kicks the fire engine into gear. It was running because it was pumping water, and somehow it rolls on down the hill. And me and Mark are going like, there goes Ralph. And it wouldn't have been quite so bad if he hadn't run over my dad's favorite walnut tree. So, anyways, along with that, me and Mark and Ralph and maybe Steven, we used to walk to school together, but we always took our matches with us because we burned the weeds as we went along. We thought we were doing a community service until the fire department showed up at our doorstep one day, and then we decided, well, it was Ralph I did. We'll just blame it on a guy on a motorcycle with a white t-shirt. I'm sure he's still in San Quentin doing hard time after they caught him. It was really odd. Then there was a time when we were kids, they were putting a water line in front of our house in Pueblo, and there was a trench about this deep, just high enough for my head to stick out. And the road grader was coming along to cover it up. Ralph decided to push me into the trench with my head sticking out like this. And all I do is see this big old blade coming at me. Unfortunately, the road grader guy seen me just in time. I mean, the dirt was piling up, but he stopped.
Ralph's thinking, damn.
And then there's the time he made my sister Amy cry. Remember Amy?
I don't know.
When he bounced a clay pigeon off of the top of my head, and it burst into dust like the greatest shotgun shot of all time. If anybody who's ever shot a clay pigeon with a shotgun, it'll go poof and just disintegrate into nothing.
I had no idea his head was that hard.
Ralph always liked to win. So one day when we lived in Pueblo again, me, Mark, and Ralph decided to see who could pee off of the top of Mom's car the farthest. So Mark's on the hood, on the back, Ralph's on top there. Of course, Ralph won. He was so proud. He was like holding the Olympic torch in one hand and his little trophy in the other. But he hated to lose because it really pissed him off one day when we lived in Tempe. We had a foot race out to the back fence starting from inside the house, and I kicked his ass. Of course, it didn't hurt that he was chasing me with a butcher knife. In high school, he thought it was funny, to go along with his vehicle stealing. He used to steal my Jeep because it had a soft top on it. And he thought it was funny to go park it in a different space every night or every day after school. So it'd be like Easter egg hunting, like, where's my car? But now with Alzheimer's sitting in, I can get even with him. Ralph always loved guns. He loved showing them off. Me and Mark and Ralph used to live on the same street. Ralph lived directly out the door. Mark lived a couple houses down. So we decided to go over to Mark's house one day, and Ralph brought his gun. He thought it was fun. He wanted to show us his new competition shooting gun, and we sit around the table, and he pulls the slide back, and bang! Ran the bullet between all our legs. We never did find the bullet. But that wasn't so bad. A couple weeks after that, I'm sitting in the living room, and drinking a couple of beers and reading my Bible, and I hear this boom, boom. I'm like, what the hell? After I memorized, well, it isn't the rapture, it's Ralph. And, I come to find out, I don't know if it was him or his buddy shot a hole through the dishwasher.
Yeah, it's my buddy.
Oh, yeah, it's buddy, okay. And then, a short time after that, when he was living with Arlene, what happened?
Nothing. Nothing.
He accidentally shot himself in the hand.
No.
Yeah, with his little Derringer, he had it in his back pocket. But it wasn't a big deal, just put a Band-Aid on it, because, it happened pretty regular. South Phoenix had nothing on us. Let's see. But Vanessa, where's Vanessa?
Vanessa, there she is.
Hide the guns. Okay? But no, in all honesty, Ralph's been a great guy. He's been a great brother. We had a little bit of trouble, after.
Did we?
Yeah, a little bit. But he's always been there. He's a loyal friend, a good brother. He's always there to help out and support all of his siblings. He's always been a pleasure, and he's just a good around guy. And I love you, brother.
Yes. All right, who else wants to say something? Come on.
That's gonna be good. Make it good.
This story starts in Minnesota when I was a kid. Now that may sound strange, but I had a brother that was an apprentice of Ralph, by the name of Mark. Anyway, Mark, when he was a kid, he was shooting with a BB gun on a hip roof and on an outer building on the farm. He was shooting sparrows by a granary. And I had a younger brother that was sitting in the barn door on steps, with no shirt on. And when Mark saw that, he just raised that gun up a little bit, and he took a shot and ducked down. And my brother Claire, he what in the world happened there? It was kind of a shock, but he never knew, Mark. I never knew anything about it.
Oh my gosh.
Fast forward probably 20, 25 years.
He thought it was a bee sting.
Yeah, bee sting or something like that, yeah. About 20, 25 years, I don't know, I guess I wouldn't know that, but they were on a quad ride together, kind of like road warriors, Well, my brother Claire had a problem with his quad, and they were working on it out in the desert. And of course, Mark related this story to Ralph while he was an apprentice. And anyway, so Claire's working on this quad, you know what I mean? And Ralph asked him, "Say, were you the brother that got shot in the back with a BB gun when you were sitting in the barn door?" and Claire turns around and looks at him and he says, "How did you know that?" You know what I mean? And he was figuring it out. Mark is going, and all I can think when I hear that is, "Be careful, your sins will find you out." No, there's all kinds of stories that Ralph and I went through, but I'm going to just tell you, Ralph's been a good friend. We've had our clashes, but we always kissed and made up, But most of all,
Figure of speech.
yeah. But fact of the matter is he's a brother in the Lord, and we have that bond there that is even stronger than brother and sister, brother to brother, But he is a brother in the Lord, and I greatly appreciated that. So always had someone on the same page with me, and I thank you for that, Ralph.
Right on.
Okay, we're done.
No, I'm not sure that we are.
You can't believe anything this guy tells
He has helped me a lot of questions and all that when I got him. But he's done some goofy stuff.
Oh, I don't know about that.
We walk in a pump room and he says they ain't wired up right. It's only got 3 wires. Okay. He flips the switch. He says supposed to have 6. That fucking thing went off like a shotgun. What you touch it for? Now I won't have to go out of town no more either.
There you go.
You're not signing it.
Who else? We know that you have stories out there.
I got a couple.
Oh, Bill.
Yeah, you stole the one about the gun. That was one of my favorite ones when he shot himself. Did you go to a hunter safety course, Ralph?
I did.
Did you? So you didn't study or pay attention? Did you go to driving education in high school at any point in time?
I may have. Yeah.
Have you ever driven your truck and stopped and the only way you could stop was hitting the stop sign?
That stop sign wasn't there.
Okay.
That stop sign, I don't know where it came
So
from.
when I went to work over there, Ralph pulled me aside and he says, you know, Bill, I got a saying around here that I follow, and I hope you will too. He says, if I get it right, it'll be the first time. What is that all about?
Yeah.
But there's one story, Ralph, that I've asked you before, and maybe these folks can figure it out. I know you were on a camping trip one time with Ross Richards.
Yeah.
Apparently it got a little cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were in a camper. I
Now-
guess it was.
Now, don't exaggerate.
No,
Don't-
it was, here's how it was. And I didn't know if you guys were spooning or what, but I know it was hectic in there. But in the morning, Ross is a smaller fellow than Ralph. So in the morning, they get up and they're saying, what the heck, something's not right here. And Ralph had Ross's long johns on, and Ross had his long johns on. And that's a true story.
It was crazy. It was.
It was hectic in there.
It was cold.
Well, I'm going to support my brother Phil's stories to a degree. Starting out with that butcher knife thing, Ralph chasing him.
He
Okay?
had it coming.
That was kind of a common occurrence, and it helped me get where I got today in my life because I learned how to deal with difficult people at difficult times. Right? My mom would come home on the rare occasion her and dad would go out and say, what happened? And I'd have to explain it. I'm like, what the fuck's up with this? I'm like the third oldest, you know? But anyway, that's how it went back in the day. Now, you're talking about Ralph's driving skills?
Yeah.
Oh, be careful.
Okay, let's just get in that 64 Chevy, get out in the desert like this, and just go as fast as we can goddamn go and see what happens. Remember that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. We can, don't worry, we'll make it across the river. Don't worry. Hey, Ralph, the shit's flooding through the windows right now. International Scout, it'll go anywhere. It'll go, remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
It'll go just about anywhere. Apparently it wasn't a boat, it was a Scout. So, it was kind of cold.
We got out of there.
We sure did. You hiked up to Sorrel Lake to make a phone call, because that back in the day we didn't have no cell phones. Well, I sat there and froze my ass off in the middle of the night, hoping somebody would come back and get me. Okay? But anyway, we had a lot of good times. I really liked the time you lowered me in the mine shaft.
Yeah.
With a rope that was fraying. Don't worry. Go down there, check it out, you'll like it. Coming up, watching the rope unfray, like, this is not going good. Let's hurry up and get to the top. This is a true story. Got up there, rope snaps, and I barely hang on.
You
Ralph's
got
like,
out,
wait,
didn't you?
Ralph's like, we should do that again. I'm like, you think so? Anyway, he's an adventure. And I could go on and on and on, but he is always there for you. And he's, strange enough, he's taught me a few things. He's been in the fire suppression sprinkler business
Since 4.
for quite a while. I've worked at some places that had some serious fires. Ralph came by and helped out, huh, Ralph?
Yeah.
Ralph is like, Mark, I'm tired of seeing you on the news, but I'm here to help. Okay? Anyway, he's one of my brothers. Got 4 of them. And I'm happy we got to this point where you can retire. And don't forget what I told you. Open the second card after the first card.
Second card,
Okay,
remember.
that's very important.
There's
Second
2
card
cards.
after the first card.
Tell Vanessa. She's the one who controls all this stuff.
Second card after the first card, because there's some opportunities coming for you. All right?
Who Who else wants to tell a story?
Nobody.
Or two? No?
Nobody.
I know
No?
about the twisted pipe.
There are thousands of stories out there.
Daryl. Oh, Eric.
There we go.
All right.
There you go.
So I didn't work with Ralph, but when I was an apprentice, my foreman was Kelly's brother, Mark, who had been Ralph's apprentice. And he told me a few things, and some of my favorites are they had a warehouse that they were installing threaded pipe, and it was a long warehouse and long threads of pipe. And so Ralph said, well, we're going to take the power machine up to the pipe and just run the power machine and tighten up all that pipe, the whole run of pipe, and then when we turn it off, then everything will be tight already. And they turned it off, and it'd run backwards about 4 turns, screaming, and then they had to use 36-inch wrenches to make everything plumb and straight.
It worked.
It worked after a fashion. Mark told me about the Bash's warehouse, that they hadn't poured the floor in the warehouse yet. And so it rained, and it was a muddy, sloppy mess. And
It was.
and Ralph figured out that if they took the scissor lift that they were on
40-footer.
high enough, it would get in between the trusses, and then it wouldn't tip over
Can't tip over.
because it was in between the trusses. And he had disabled the limit switch, so it would run full speed at 40 feet up in between the trusses, laughing as he's flying across this warehouse. See, Marky, it won't fall over. And Mark's hanging on to the front, white knuckle.
But that job was an interesting job. It was.
I heard several interesting things. You know, he told me about your boots flying in the clouds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was. There was a job that they had a little leak on a weld, and so Ralph was sitting on a bank of conduit to get to a sprinkler head that had a little bit of leak on it. And as he's trying to tap the leak closed, the vibration set off the sprinkler head. Right here,
140 pounds.
right in front of Ralph's face. And nobody knew it, and one of the electricians came to Mark and said, hey, your buddy's in bad trouble. And Mark came out and looks down this long hall, and all he sees is Ralph's boots hanging down out of a cloud of sprinkler water as Ralph's sitting like this, just getting hosed.
140 psi out of that head.
Yeah, that sounded like a bummer.
That was a lot of water. I got down and emptied the water out of my boots.
So my experiences with Ralph have all been wonderful.
Yeah.
From just the seeing stuff around the state and things that he's showed me and taught me, and things that, like Mike said, Ralph has been a great mentor to lots of us in the fire protection world, and we miss him terribly. So if you want to send him back to the office, we will take him back.
We heard it. It's on
That
video.
happened.
Anybody else? Any other?
Yes, Ralph's brother-in-law just has been educational, and we can now all understand the concept of inbreeding.
Okay.
I want to say,
Come
and I
on,
just
Billy.
remembered.
You said enough.
No, this is good. Ralph had an ability to speak well, you know. Has or whatever. But anyway,
On that one day.
That one day.
when the city of Mesa was trying to pass a fire protection in residential homes, and of course it was a talk radio subject. And Ralph called, I told Ralph, I says, they're talking about this right now. Ralph calls in, I'm listening to it, I wish I'd had a recording on it, but he had a talk show host, local talk show host, just backpedaling, you know what I mean? Just, because the guy didn't really know what he was talking about, you know, and of course everything was, you know, the fire protection people are in cahoots with the city and all that stuff, you know, but Ralph set him straight, and he did it well. I wish I would have had a recording of it.
Who else? Who else wants to come speak to this amazing
Nobody.
facial hair legend?
They're all done. There's nothing to say.
Everybody else?
It's all good.
All right. Well,
Tell
remember.
us how you find it
I
out.
just want you to come in and buy. Hey Ralph,
What?
I just want you to come in and buy breakfast every week.
Not every week.
I knew I'd get that out of
Hey Daryl, Chompies is not there, where do you go?
Huh?
Chompies is not there, where do you go?
Well, I can't tell you that. Just sweet.
All right.
Sundays.
Ralph, is there anything that
Sonny.
you would like to say
In defense. In
in
defense.
defense of yourself?
I actually, there's not much of a defense. It's pretty much all true. But you know what? Like Daryl mentioned, going to breakfast with some of the guys and everything. I do miss the people I work with. It was 40-some years of really good relationship. It was a lot of fun, a lot of hard work. It was hard work. The sprinkler trade is tough work, And you look at the old timers and they're all crippled up and everything. It's hard work. But you know what? It's 46 years of the best years of my life. It really was. I really enjoyed the industry. It's a wonderful industry. We save lives doing what we do. And the crew that I was fortunate to work with, the company I was fortunate to work with, is just great, and I miss that, I do. I'll miss the people. I'll miss the camaraderie and the friendship. I miss the industry. It was good. It was. I was blessed, to put it shortly, simply. I was blessed for 46 years, and I was proud to be part of this whole group and that group, and so I was blessed. That's all I.
All right, remember, nothing changes, and have a wonderful evening.
There's cake and dessert.
And there's
And
lots
there's
of food
cake
in there.
and dessert
Eat that
inside,
food.
and some wonderful music that's going to be played. Thank you all.